What is up, Mordhau players and people who may have just stumbled onto the channel? My name is Wolflaff, and today I'll be discussing some of my favorite games, honestly, to play, because this channel really only has two bits of content so far. I've tried to branch out into certain other games, hasn't really worked, but I mean, the most recent one kind of worked, but yeah, but without further ado, just be sure, before we get into it, be sure to like and subscribe for, weekly uploads now, because I can't keep up with this shit. I'm gonna run out of ideas soon. Yeah, subscribe for weekly uploads. You also make sure to like and comment what one of your favorite games is. Without further ado, let's get into this. So, starting out, two of my favorite games, it's really a duality, because they each are very similar yet very different at the same time. And these are the two games that I've uploaded most recently, or videos involving them most recently. This has been Mordhau and Hearts of Iron 4. Now, if you're familiar with the channel, you probably know what Mordhau is by this point. And most of my videos that I think deserve, that are quality, they're Mordhau. They're Mordhau videos. And both these video games, you probably haven't heard of Hearts of Iron, as it really has a specific player base it's targeted towards, similar to Mordhau, but Mordhau's a bit different in that regard. Hearts of Iron is just World War II simulator. It is just, if you went with generic World War II game, but you made it very complex. It's probably the best World War II video game out there, or strategy game rather. Maybe not the best World War II game, because that one would have to go to the campaign mode of Call of Duty World War II. The multiplayer sucked, but the campaign mode was great. It was a really good story. But besides that, that's besides the point. My point is that you probably haven't heard of Hearts of Iron, ever, or haven't even heard of the concept. So I'll explain it in case you haven't watched that video as easily as possible. Like I said, it's World War II simulator, but it's made by this company called Paradox Games. They make quite a few titles similar to it: the Crusader Kings saga, the Europa Universalis saga, the two Victoria games, and the game Stellaris. Those are their biggest names. They also made Imperator, but nobody gives a fuck about Imperator. Basically, they are games that all revolve around a historical timeline, and for that reason, it has a very specific target audience. Now, compare this to a game like Call of Duty, which just about everybody can enjoy because it's pretty simple, it is very easy to understand. Whereas in Hearts of Iron, it's a very hard game to understand. There are a lot of different factors that play into your success. It's a very balance oriented game. Not in terms that the game is well balanced, because God forbid it be well balanced. There's always going to be an advantage in a historical board game for people who try to play it historically, or somewhat historically. But it's more of a game of how you balance out your country. Hearts of Iron is a World War II game. They have the Crusader Kings, which you can probably guess by now is the medieval timeline, so I really love that game. Crusader Kings 3, really good game. There's Europa Universalis, just sort of the colonial timeline, or the colonial time period. There's Victoria, that one's pretty obvious, Victorian times, and Imperator, which no one gives a flying fuck about, so I'm not going to elaborate on that anymore. But it is very similar to Mordhau in that it does have a very specific target audience, and I'll get into Mordhau right now, because Mordhau is just medieval Call of Duty. It's basically, it's the easiest way to describe that game, because it's a pretty good description. Now, not everybody understands Mordhau fully, because it's a little more complex than you might think, but it's simple enough to understand what your objective is compared to like in Hearts of Iron, and how you complete that objective. Because in Mordhau, your objective really varies based off the game mode, but your objective is usually to kill the enemy. no matter what you're playing, you always have to get kills in some form in order to win. Now, like if you're playing Invasion, you need to kill them to stop them from pushing the cart or whatever objective it is. I'm using pushing the cart because it's a very common objective. But I think that both these games are in their own merits, well made, well designed, and I think that both deserve a lot more praise than they're getting. Like both these games are quite literally some of the least played and most underrated games I've seen in a while. Hearts of Iron less so, because it's still kind of a piece of shit, but I still love it. But like if you look at Mordhau as a whole, you can see that it's a well-designed game. The graphics are really good, as well as with Hearts of Iron. The graphics really aren't that good, but it's a map game, so what the hell do you expect? It's good in its own merit. But both these games they seem on the surface very alike or very different, but in concept they're very similar. They both have target audiences. If I had to go into one that would be better for a more casual player, I would definitely go with Mordhau, because you can have fun in that game without putting too many hours into it. Like you can just throw javelins around, throw smoke bombs, throw fire bombs, and you can have a good time. Whereas in Hearts of Iron, you really have to plan and learn and plan and learn. But it's still fun to lose in Hearts of Iron, because each time you learn more and more. However, it is a bit more of a grindy game compared to Mordhau, which is definitely more of a casual one. But otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this video on some of the thoughts on my two favorite games at the current moment, not of all time. That's Medieval 2 and Rome Total War. But my two current games that still have large player bases. But I hope you all enjoyed. Like I said, if you did, be sure to like and subscribe. We upload once every week. Make sure you hit that notification bell as well so you can get notified for the next upload. Otherwise, I will see you all next time. Bye.